Hi guys, Mark at the Gun Room, and today we are going to look at something that I get asked about all the time in the shop, which is should I buy a Springer or should I buy a PCP, which is a very good question. And I got to thinking, how can you do this fairly? Because I couldn't really put a Varrock HW100 up against a Gamma Hornet, which there's nothing wrong with a Hornet. It's a very good gun. If anyone owns a Hornet, please don't rip me apart in the comments. But to put a gun that costs a tenth of the price of another one against each other, I think is slightly unfair. So what we've done is we've gone and got a Air Arms TX200 in the full length barrel rather than a shorter barrel up against an Air Arms S400. So today we're having an Air Arms day. Both are in 177, both have Hawk scopes on them, and I thought it would be really interesting to see, would I be able to get the same level of accuracy out of both? Now they're not far off a cost of each other brand new, which I thought would be the fairest way of doing it. The TX200 obviously is a really premium spring gun. It's probably one of the top two you can buy. The Air Arms S400 has credentials going back as far as I can remember of competition winners, and it is unbelievably well built and is phenomenally accurate. So really it's down to me. How well can I shoot this particular gun at this range? Now we're going to do a 20 meter and we're also going to do a 40 meter. I'm going to attempt an 80 meter, but I haven't shot a spring gun in a fairly long time, so I don't know whether I'll be really doing the rifle much justice on this one, if I'm brutally honest. Typically as well, I don't have the production costs available to me like Field Sports with Speed does, so I don't have any snacks for the hide. I've forgotten my pellets, so I've had to grub around in my coat and find pellets that I've used over the last year. And I've also had to makeshift a rest. So this will be a pretty good test as to what it's like in the field. And it will give you a good idea as to what level of accuracy can you get within reason. So it's not going to be one of these videos where it's in a vice and we're testing the accuracy out of it to the nth degree. This is going to be, how easy are they to shoot? How easy are they to shoot well? And how consistent are they? Which sadly means a lot of it is down to me. So let's see how it goes. Right then guys, so we're sat down with the Air Arms TX200 with a little Hawk scope on it. As I said in the beginning there, I did leave the rest at home handily, and I've also left my pellets at home. So we're shooting what is going to be mostly a tin of JSB Exact Heavy, 10.34 grain, with a little mix of H&M Field Target Trophy, because that's what I had rolling around in my cup holder of my car. The target, hopefully you can see, maybe somewhere around there-ish. There's a white arrow next to it pointing out the target. We're going to shoot on the left-hand target first. We're going to do 3 shots with the TX200 and see how we go. Obviously, being a spring gun, you've got to cock it each time, so I'm going to have to break position, which may well come into play with the accuracy level of the gun. Let's put some shots down and see how we go. So, if you are shooting with an underlever, remember to hold the lever when you're loading. Obviously the anti-bear trap on the Air Arms is a really good safety feature, but never ever rely on mechanical features, because you know sometimes they go wrong and I'd hate anyone to have an accident. So left hand target, let's see how we go. Sorry if this brushes the microphone as well everyone, I'm doing my best. Cool. I'll tell you what, the guys in the shop have zeroed this all right. I forgot how much fun it was shooting a Springer. And it's shooting these rolled about pellets with, let's say, some Sprite residue on it quite well. Oof. I'd be happy with that if I was shooting a PCP. This little thing is a beast, especially off my Ridgeline Smock rest, which I've knocked up as best I can. Squirrel. I'm back in the room. So we're going to move on to the Air Arms S400. So that's a single shot version as the competitor for PCP. Now this, I'm thinking, is going to be a far more accurate straight off. You don't have the vibration, you don't have the recoil that you do in a spring gun. However, that TX200 manages it really well. Same shooter, same pellets. I'm going to go for the right-hand target that you should be able to see on the screen as long as everything goes well. And let's see how we go. Now you'll probably notice quite a difference in noise on this one. That's because the spring gun has quite a hollow thud to it rather than a crack that this one will. The 400s are able to have a moderator, but at the moment I've just left it as standard so there's the least amount of impact on the accuracy. So we're using the same slightly Sprite covered JSB Exact Heavies from my cup holder. Let's see how we go. Very different shooting style, no vibration, no recoil whatsoever. You can follow your shot, not a problem at all on this one. And far faster to shoot, even in a single shot version. Obviously the S410 version, which is the multi-shot version, you could shoot this really, really fast. It's also a very quick way of getting through air. I don't reckon there's much in that, looking at them actually. Remember guys, we're not looking to see which is most central. We are looking to see the tightest group. So I'm looking on group size. Hopefully you'll be able to see it on the camera there. I will keep these targets just in case and I'll show you at the end, but that's looking pretty good to me. Only downside to a PCP is keeping it topped up with air and finding the sweet spot. Oh, squeaky squeak squeak. Yeah, the slower you can get it in, the less heat you produce, the truer your reading on your bottle will be. Also puts less strain on the O-rings in there as well. So like the filler port, if you create a lot of heat, then the O-rings eventually can go quite hot. Microphone warning. Should have really done a microphone warning for my singing. So we've walked the target back to 40 yards and we're now going to have a go on the Air Arms TX200 first. First thing we've got to do is look at the parallax adjuster because that is the main thing that people forget, and that can throw your crosshair out. So if you are looking to get into bench rest, something with a really good parallax is also massively important alongside the high magnification. So we'll just double check that one. Move my Ridgeline / cardboard box rest. Now, this has been 0 to 20 yards, both of them have, so I don't know where we're going to fall. I'm hoping it's going to be in the black so that you can see the yellow splash, but we will soon find out. Anyone who shot a TX200 knows that that is a skill to be able to do it without looking. So, left-hand target is what we're going for, 40 yard. That could well be the Sprite dieseling down the barrel. Equally, it could just be me. Oh, there was me getting cocky and telling you that I can do it without looking. There we go. Tell you what, it's opening up a bit. 40 yard. Don't have much hope for the 80 yarder that I was going to attempt. It is sort of grouping. I'm going to put one more down because I feel that that's unfair to the Air Arms TX200 if that was me. Oh, it is getting tighter. So hopefully you'll see on the camera there, the one was probably me pulling it, to be fair. I'm not used to shooting the springers. So it's a bit of a technique. Hats off to anyone who can shoot a springer like really well. They're so underrated. Right, let's get on the 400 and see how we do. We got the S400. Parallax adjusted. Let's see how we go. So much easier to load. Falling dead in line, but evidently low. They're just so accurate, these little things. And secondhand, for the money, these guns are unreal. I mean, you can be competition shooting in absolutely no time with one of these. Same hole at 40 yards. That is a clear winner. So ultimately, accuracy wise, I'm going to say at 40 yard, definitely buy a PCP. If you're looking to get into target shooting and bench rest and shoot the longer distance, well, longer distances so that you can become competitive, then PCP is definitely the way. Considering these are both very similar values, hopefully you've seen the video, that has just stacked three on top of another. So what we'll do, I'll have to go and put another target out and we'll see how we go at 80, maybe. So we're back at roughly 80 yard. You won't be able to see the target in the camera if I pointed it around anyway. So you're just going to get me, well, basically what you're here for is me anyway. So, you know, full face shot, the full shebang. What we're going to do, what am I talking about? Your eyes aren't painted on, are they? Eh? So what we're going to do, we're going to, as you look at the target, on the left-hand side there's a little black dot. I'm going to fire at that just to see where the pellets fall in because I didn't bring a big enough bit of cardboard. Truth be told, today's a bit of a nightmare. I seem to have forgotten everything that's important. So we'll load up, we'll fire a few shots, see where it's falling, and then hopefully that'll give me enough of a chance to try and hit the black on the target down there. I wonder if my rest is going to work. Oh, like a dream. Can't tell whether that's the cable tie that moved or whether that's the actual target, but hit something. So, oh no. Oh, doubly no. There we go. Don't worry, that's what professionals do. I've seen it in the Olympics. Okay, so we may have a bit of an issue here with even getting this on target. Come on, little TX200. I was really hoping you'd do extremely well on this. Let's go for 2 mil dots. Oh, don't tell me I'm going to have to walk all the way back down there again to see where it's gone. I heard it hit the cardboard. Oh, that is a fair way off. So that's almost the full length of the cardboard plus 2 mil dots. We'll be able to work it out. So I'm going to go for the far left target. I'm going to sort of Kentucky windage it a little bit. So we're going to go on to the 400. Roughly there. I don't think I'll be able to see where we are going. Nope. Didn't sound like cardboard either. Which is interesting because that means the TX has got less holdover than the PCP. That did hit. We'll go 5 mil dots as well, and then you guys can see roughly what the drop difference is. So easy to shoot. It's almost cheating. Okay, so let's go down and have a look because I can't really see through the scope. One of the main differences that's going to influence the accuracy between spring gun and pre-charged is the recoil. Now, when I say recoil, I don't mean like shotgun or anything, but what we'll do is I'll fire a shot in the 177 TX200 and we'll just see, and I'll see if I can slow the image down so you can see how much it moves. And then we'll do the same with the 400. And that hopefully will give you an idea of why people find it easier to shoot with a PCP gun rather than a spring gun. We'll slow that one down. And now with the S400, quite a difference. So it's really interesting that the Air Arms S400 has dropped this much, whereas the TX200 has dropped probably half the distance. I've heard people say that they're not as affected by wind drift, they're not as affected by holdover, and I've never really thought, I thought, well, physics is physics, that's just how it is. But it looks like on this one, it's correct. However, on the actual target, we've got a spread here of 3 shots. Well, I got quite small hands, but that's going to be probably 2-inch spread, and it's in a proper little group. Whereas the 400 is a line, pretty much straight down, which will be double that. That's probably 3.5, 4 inches of spread on that one. So obviously I haven't dialed it in. I haven't got a competition grade scope on it. I haven't got the best rest, and I haven't got the best pellets, but they are both shooting off the same rest with the same pellets. So I don't know. I think the Air Arms has probably got it, if I'm brutally honest with you, on the TX200. It's a better group. It's tighter grouping. The 400 I'm quite surprised at. I thought at that sort of distance, at 80-ish yards, you would have had a group maybe an inch big. It could well be because I've recently filled it, that it's still quite high on pressure. So what I might do is just go and put 3 more shots down just to see if it makes a difference. But then again, that would be unfair on the TX200. No. I don't know. Put in the comments which one you would rather have. I know which one I'd rather have, but that's not what I was expecting. So, as it's a tie accuracy-wise, what I'm going to do is a tie break. I've got the camera down there that hopefully you'll be able to see. I've got 1 clay pigeon on a stand down there, and what we're going to do is going to be least amount of shots to be able to hit that clay. So that's at 80 yards. It's at the same distance you've just seen the targets being shot with, apart from one where the camera decided to die on me, but you'll still see the actual target being hit, and we'll see how we go. Oh, he's giving it too much. It's dancing all round it. I reckon I'll run out of pellets before I hit this. That's not a reflection of the gun. That's a reflection of my shooting standard. Going to call it a day on the TX. I don't think that's going to happen. So let's go and grab the... Right then. So the S400, in theory, because I don't have any movement when I pull the trigger, I should be able to follow, in theory, the pellet trajectory. Let's back off the magnification to 10. So this is a second focal plane scope, which if you want a video on explaining the difference between first and second focal plane, please do either get in contact somehow, one way or another, because I can go quite nerdy. But ultimately, if I change from 10 to 12, I will lessen on a second focal plane scope the amount of mil dots that I will need to use to be able to hit the clay. So I'm essentially trying to make it easier for myself, because this is a little bit soul destroying. Yes! And that is why we lessen magnification. In which case, now I've done that, I might well go and put another one up and try the TX. But I'll have to review the footage because I didn't actually count how many pellets that was. But I think that's pretty much a win for the 400. So I'm going to give the TX200 one last chance to hit this clay at 80 yards. I've backed the magnification off on the second focal plane scope, So hopefully that will lessen my holdover, because currently I was trying to shoot it on just the fat black line of the crosshair. Hopefully this will give me an aiming point very similar to the S400, where I've got a mil dot where I can hold over. But we'll see how we go, because I really want this to do well. Right. First shot. That is impressive. That is impressive, especially with a Springer. I mean, I know it's a fair sized target, and you boys who are out there shooting all the time with Springers can hit that every day of the week, but that's quite impressive for me. If you would like me to do a quick video on first and second focal plane and the upsides and the downsides, pros and cons as to what you should go for, please do just chuck it in the comments. I do read them. I give it my best shot to be able to sit down and read through the comments, and I will try and make videos. So I have seen suggestions, and it's currently in the works. If you follow the channel, you would have seen myself and a shooting buddy, James, otherwise known as Replica Reviews on YouTube, who did a video at the same shooting ground, hitting a gong at over 150 yards. Now, it was spammed with "do it with a Springer." I am working on it. So guys, in conclusion, what do I think? I think both of them have got their place. The S400 performs extremely well, and let's be brutally honest, in this video I have not given them their best chance, mainly because I was using some grubby old pellets, and I had zeroed them roughly to 20 yard in the shop on our indoor rifle range. So while I say I also didn't zero them, so they've been zeroed by someone else, and I've just picked them up to go and use them. They've both had the same treatment, so the accuracy side is quite impressive from both of them. The S400, I think, would be my choice. I know you have to carry extra gear with you, such as dive bottle, fillers, all that sort of stuff. And obviously, if you're out in the field and you're out using it for vermin control, then it's a little bit more tricky if you run out of air, if you've had a bumper day. The spring gun, I think, held its own extremely well, and it's so low maintenance that I think that would probably be my choice if I'm not doing a lot of it. If I want something that I can put in the cupboard, use in the summer months, and then put away for the winter and not use at the target range or at vermin controlling, the Airarms TX200 or a spring gun would be the one I would buy. It's more than accurate enough for what I want to do it with. It's probably more accurate than I am, let's be honest. But the S400, if I was using it once a week for the whole year, I would definitely buy that. And that's the main difference between PCP and brake barrel. The brake barrel is so low maintenance, and you don't need any gear. You need a pocket full of pellets, and you can go out and you can have fun. The PCP, you need to make sure you've got some way of charging it. You need to make sure you've got air on it. Along the side of servicing as well, there's more that needs servicing within a PCP air gun. That's not to say they go wrong overly often. They don't. That's why I would never have any qualms in buying a second-hand PCP airgun for myself, because there is actually technically quite a small amount to go wrong with them. There's very few moving parts in there. It's all seals, and if you think of it the same as a brake pad on a car, then they'll need changing at some point. As long as you're aware of that, then that's fine. But I think it's horses for courses. This one, ultimately, I would have both. If I could go for it, I would have both these air guns, put them in my gun locker, and absolutely have fun with them. But if I had to pick one, and I had to only own one, then the Airarms S400 would be the choice for me. Phenomenally accurate, and I reckon this particular gun, if you tuned it up and you got the right pellets in it, it would outshoot most things.